It's November 23rd, 2024. I'm at the end of Bear Ridge Trail, formerly known as Gypsy. And by request, and didn't realize I hadn't done this loop, I'm going to go through this loop in sections because there's a couple of cul-de-sacs, if you will, on the Bear Ridge Trail. And this is number 17, the very last cabin here. And this loops around. Behind you here we have cabin number 18. And beyond that is cabin 19. Cabin 19 is a double. It has a 8x16 room in the back. And so now I'm going to hop in the car and drive down the rest of the loop. Now, because this is so far from the facility building, which they just remodeled and added 2 showers to the men's and ladies' room side, they do have a outhouse here, if you will, right here, to service the very end of this loop, which is convenient. No waiting, usually. So bear with me here. Now, what's kind of cool about this 18 here is that it has a hip front porch, and the hip was moved from the inside of the cabin out to the front of it, so there's no inner hip, and it feels very spacious in there. I just did a second movie here on my YouTube channel on this particular cabin because it is a unique cabin. Undoubtedly an annual cabin, because here's remains of a foundation right here that was probably a shed or something like that. Went back in the day when people could rent these cabins for an entire year or sometimes 5-year blocks, and they ended that practice probably in the early 70s, in fairness to all of the other campers. Back there again is 19. Right here is a pit toilet. A little home away from home there. There's an interesting hike here that follows a creek. I've taken it. I can't tell you what that particular creek is, but it merges with Quaker Run Creek down by Bear Ridge number 32 by the bridge, just up from the bridge. And so here we go, 19 again from the road. I'm gonna have to go with 20. Oh, that's interesting. These numbers are not always what you think here. So I'm gonna go nice and slow here, make sure I get everything. Now these are along the creek as well. That's number 21. So we're gonna bounce back and forth here. This is number 16. Number 16 is also a double. You can see the 8x16 room addition on the back. So you're ascending on the right side and descending, or still ascending on the right side on the return trip here. So that would make this one 22. That makes sense. Across the street is number 15. Number 23, overlooking the creek, tucked away in the back. Number 24, sought after cabin. Now that cabin is actually 2 foot longer than the other cabins. If you go in there and you look up on the ridge board there, for some strange reason they extended that cabin 2 more feet, so it's 16 by 18 feet. Number 14. It's November. This is the second last weekend these cabins are available before they close after Thanksgiving weekend. And they keep them open for the hunters, just a handful of the primitive loops. This one here is number 13. Number 13 is a double, obviously. It has a new roof, finally, and also the new stainless steel triple wall chimneys, which they have yet to replace on a number of these. I'm going to have to say that's 25 back there. 26. This used to be a hold cabin. I think it still is. In other words, if something happens to another cabin, gets hit by a tree, something like that, they always have a hold cabin or 2 on the loops here so that people will not be put out of their vacation in the event of a catastrophe here. So number 12. Number 12 is also a double with an 8x16 addition in the back. number 27 down there. Now there's multiple water hydrants, as you see here in the circle. Fresh water there that's potable, drinkable. This is number 11. If I'm not mistaken, now 11 has a concrete slab. It also has propane heat, so it would be the closest thing to a handicapped cabin that they would have here on these primitives. The same with number 10. It's on a slab and it has propane heat, and very conveniently located to the facility building. Now, if you look at the back of that facility building, you'll see a perpendicular gable roof on it, and that's where they put the two showers on both on the left and the right hand side, the men's and ladies room side, which was just completed the spring of 2024. That's a big plus for the Loop, and of course they have all the other new facility buildings as well. But with so many new facility buildings, there's seldom any kind of waiting, and most of them, with the exception of the Bear Ridge one here, they have a dishwashing station. Okay, so this is number 28, up against the road, stayed there, get a little dust in your eggs in the morning. And I'm going to have to film these newer cabins here, 1 through 9, I believe, separately, as some are occupied right now, and luckily none of these are. That's number 32, right across from the bridge, and right up from there, like I said, is the convergence of Quaker Run Creek and the other creek that basically goes in front of all these other cabins. The name escapes me as usual. So one of my favorite cul-de-sacs here, this is number 31. Now these are a much better level with the creek. These are all single cabins here. This is number 29, I'm a little out of sequence here, and number 30, which I'll be staying at quite soon. And a lot of people are apprehensive about getting these cabins because they're wood heat, and it does take some work to stay warm, especially now the temperature is 39 degrees. You have to get up a couple of times to stoke the fire, but it's well worth it because you got the whole park to yourself just about, and you have some great choices of cabins, such as number 30, one of my favorites. And there's a number of cabins on Creekside right now that are open, that are also some of my favorites, that are facing the creek and right on the creek. Obviously it's cold, so you got to bundle up and got to know how to use a wood-burning stove. And to use a wood-burning stove, both an airtight and the typical box stoves that are in these primitives here, I have instructions on how to do that on my YouTube channel. Just look up Paul Crawford Primitive Stove on YouTube, Allegany State Park, and you should be able to find those. So anyways, thanks a lot for watching. This is a part 1. Part 2 will encompass cabins 1 through 9, and that'll be at a later time when those are not occupied. You folks have a great Allegany day. Thank you for watching. Take care.